the coaching, I both coached Griffin and Dylan in youth football, but that had just ended. It was Dylan's season had just ended, and when Griffin passed away, and so then, as I said, my mom, she had prior to Griffin passing away, though, it was a Mother's Day, actually the day after Mother's Day that very year, she found out she had stage 4 uterine cancer. And so she survived just a lethal surgery where they removed a lot. And so she somehow survived that, only to 8 months later pass away. And so there was kind of a rough time there where, for me, it felt like everybody was going, nobody was coming.
Yeah.
And so, I that led me to a serious bout of depression, to the point where in August of 2015, I actually shot myself and in the head, underneath the chin, and with the intention of not being here. And so, as I look back now, everything I didn't have to live for, I now have to live for. And so it was just a period of time where life was tough. And it was, once you get down, what my experience is, once I got down that low, it didn't feel like it was ever going to end. And unless I ended it.
Hey everybody, it's Aldo Gandhi, and I just want to let you know really quickly that our swag shop is reopened. DeepDishTees.com is where you go, and that's tees with T-E-E-S. Clever name, guys. They're the new home of our merchandise. You can get t-shirts, you can get caps, you can get coffee mugs, you can get hoodies, you can get all sorts of good stuff, and you'll help out the bar room with the purchase. So head over to DeepDishTees.com.
You're listening to the Ballroom Network. The following program is intended for all audiences. Welcome to the South Burbs Hitmen podcast with your hosts, Joe Mandel, Steven Zim Zimmerman, Vinny Parisi, and Chris Gonzalez. We're bringing you the White Sox coverage you need from the perspective of true Southsiders. Grab your Kaminsky dog with an ice cold beer and meet us in section 155. Everyone get on your feet for your 2021 South Burbs Hitmen.
That ball hit deep. Way back. You can put it on the board. Yes. Jimenez in the air. Left field. He's your hero tonight. Thanks, Cubs. Over the head of Jenks. Uribe charges, throws, out! And the White Sox have won the World Series. Alexei! Yes! 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 History! A perfect game by Mark Burley, and what an unbelievable play by Dwayne White.
First pitch starts now.
What is going on, everyone, and welcome to South Burbs Hitmen. I'm one of your hosts, Joe Mandel, and I'm joined by my White Sox brothers in arms. I'm talking about Steven Zim Zimmerman and Vinny Parisi. Our buddy Chris Gonzalez can't make it tonight, so it's the three of us with a very special guest we'll introduce here in just a minute. But before I do, I'll toss it around the table. Steven Zim Zimmerman, how you doing today, buddy, and how you feeling?
Aaron Rodgers sucks. Sorry, football game on. Nah, dude, life is good. Life is good. Just getting back into the swing of everything. Missed a lot of White Sox baseball this week, so I'm very excited to hear about it from you guys, as well as give, what little input I can this week. And, it's going to be a great show. I'm excited to hear what Salim's got to share with us. Excuse me, I didn't mean to give away our guest, but there's your little teaser.
Yeah, I like it. That's what we call a tease. We'll bring it up here. We'll bring him back on here in just a second. But Vinny Parisi, of course, you cover this team every single day. It's been a little bit of an underwhelming week for a week that we expected this team to kind of go nuts and clinch the division right away. Looks like we had to wait maybe a day or two more. Magic number is sitting at 3 right now. How are you feeling right now about this White Sox team, Vinny?
Yeah, so I saw something today, and I want to address Vincent's comment that I saw posted. The Guardians already lost a game today. They're playing a doubleheader, and last time I checked, They were losing the game they're playing right now. So if the White Sox do end up pulling out this game against Detroit, the magic number could be down to 1 going into tomorrow. I will say I'm feeling good because last week the Angels series wasn't the best. They've been non-competitive in games that Dallas Keuchel and, Reynaldo Lopez, for whatever reason lately in the last couple 2-3 games, they've kind of been uncompetitive in those games, and that's not going to be the case in the playoffs. I keep telling people, like, they'll lose a game that Lance Lynn starts. That happens in baseball. But, like, for the most part, you can bank on them playing well in these games that their pitchers play well. And just not that's why I'm a little worried about this Detroit series, because, like, I'd really like to see them win this game because you don't know what you're going to get from Keuchel tomorrow. Detroit's a good team. They're the second best team in the division, regardless of how the standings shake out this season. So, I'm not worried. I saw something when Jimenez, Robert, Abreu, Anderson, and Grandal are in the lineup. They're 3-0. Only 3-0.
Because they only played that many games.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
That is crazy. It's bad luck too, but hopefully everyone can get healthy in time for the playoffs. I did see today that Tony La Russa said that Adam Engel is looking like he's going to be activated tomorrow.
Sweet.
So that's interesting to me that they would activate him now, but I guess you got to get his feet wet before the playoffs. So that's a good thing. But we do have a lot to talk about, but we are going to bring on our guest so he can hang out with us for as long as he wants and then, get out of here whenever he pleases. But we're going to welcome Salim Suterwalla from the Bulls Gold podcast. Salim, thanks for joining us, man.
Thanks so much for having me, gentlemen. It's a pleasure. You guys do a great show, and I'm happy that you guys invited me.
Thanks for coming on,
We're happy
man.
to have you. Absolutely. We appreciate you joining us. And, we know you love your White Sox in addition to your Bulls. We know you cover the Bulls here on the Barroom Network. And before we get into the White Sox talk, you have a new show that's coming on the Barroom Network as well. Why don't you tell some of our listeners a little bit about that before we dive into White Sox talk?
Yeah, so I'm a big sci-fi movie comic book nerd. I grew up I was a kid. I grew up reading comic books. I grew up all the sci-fi stuff. Being into all that stuff, right? Going into different like Comic-Con and all the different conventions. So just a show that I've been wanting to do for a while. And just one day I was like, you know what? Let me ask Aldo if he would be, up for having Barroom host it. And he liked the idea because I remember, him talking about how he wants to expand more at what we do on this network. So
absolutely.
just I figured I'd ask. Shoot your shot, and he said, yeah, it would be good. And it's kind of come a lot quicker than I thought it would. When I asked him, I knew the idea what I wanted to do behind the show, but I didn't know what to call it yet, and that was killing me. I was like, I wanted to make something that would be good, unique.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
I had a co-host in mind right away, a friend of mine who's also right there with me. He's a comic book guy and science fiction guy and all that stuff. And I asked him first, and then he said he would agree to do it. I was like, good, and I'm glad he's on board. And then I was just constantly just thinking, what the hell I'm gonna call the show. It was just eating me. It was killing me. And then one day I'm just at the gym randomly thinking, doing my thing. I was like, oh, wait, science fiction. Is that taken somewhere? I Googled it. I searched it like for an hour just to make sure no one else had that name. I went on YouTube.
Yours.
Yeah, exactly. It worked out. So so much for that long, boring story short. But yeah, it worked out pretty well. We went with that name, and we're going to try to do our first episode this Thursday.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So coming soon to your Barroom Network stream and wherever you find podcasts. And you guys are doing video too, right, Salim?
Yeah, video. So it's going to be recorded. It's not going to be live. But yeah, we are going to do video and audio, obviously.
Awesome.
Very cool.
Well, that's cool. We look forward to that. So
Can't
that's
wait.
Exciting news. And of
Yeah.
course, you know, we're excited here for our White Sox kind of making that final playoff push. So I know we were talking about that magic number currently, you know, sitting at 3. By the end of the night, it could be down to 1. How are you feeling about the White Sox right now, Salim?
Yeah, it's funny. You guys were talking about health and everything like that, and I think, you know, what LaRusse is doing to the finish line. He's just kind of like trying to make sure the team can be in one shape going into the postseason. Like he's like, because the division has luckily been pretty soft, we have that benefit of trying to make sure we can get guys healthy. Like, you know, he's in any other season, I would imagine like a lot of these guys would still be playing. They wouldn't be put on like the DL and stuff like that. And then and another thing is funny. I was thinking about like, man, we seem to not beat good teams. And then I looked at our record against like some of these teams, like the Rays and Astros and whatever. And it's like, you know what? It's what you would expect, because they're a really good team too. You're not just going to go in, you know, dominate these teams. It's like 50-50. Like, so I was like, you know what? I feel confident going into postseason. We face one of these teams, we can beat them. So it's like, yeah, I feel good. I think if they can just get healthy, get everyone on board. I don't know if I want Dallas Keuchel on board, but I
we
think
will talk about that again later.
Yeah, but like I like this team. I like where they're at. I feel pretty good that they can go all the way.
I mean, yeah, we feel the same way, and you know, we're just going to include you along for the ride of our segments and all that fun stuff tonight, and kind of we'll throw it against the wall and see what sticks, like our buddy Aaron Current likes to say. But without further ado, let's touch on it for a moment. We had not looked good this past week. I know we talked about it with Vinny a little bit, but 2 out of 3, we lost 2 out of 3 to the Angels, and we took 2 out of 3 from the Rangers. I know I was maybe being a little overexcited for 6-game sweep, but here we are. I can't tell you how many people have come to me this week, guys, and have said, this team is underperforming. We're not good. We're going to get knocked out in the first round. This team is just, they cannot perform day to day. And I think Salim touched on it, is that they haven't been fully healthy together as a squad. And I think that's one thing that everyone has to look at. Vinny, as someone who writes about this team every day and sees that every day, what do you make of that conversation? Like, hey, the White Sox are not that good and they're going to get swept right away.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to get swept by Houston. That's their 99.9% likely playoff opponent. It's more than likely going to start in Houston. And I'm a little worried about they just take one of those 2 games. I'm not positive they'll beat Houston. It's really year 1, like first full year of what was supposed to be this long run of division title competition and success in the postseason. It's year 1. So if they lost to the team that has a World Series championship, a World Series appearance, a couple ALCS appearances, trash cans or not, you got to know how to play baseball in order to do that if you're Houston. And I don't know, they're a good team. And if the White Sox lost the series to the Astros, it's not like I'd fall off my chair and excited. I'd be disappointed that this team was like this good this season and then they were out in the first round. But the Astros are good, and they're saying the same thing about us. So either one of those 2 teams can win. It really wouldn't surprise me either way. If the White Sox did lose, though, I wouldn't blame it on like anything that these people are saying. The team hasn't been healthy at full strength all year. We know what they can do when they are healthy, but the Astros are where they are for a reason too. So no, I'm not too worried about it.
Yeah, I'm kind of feeling the same way. Zim, do you have any doubts in your mind about this team right now?
I don't know if I'd call them doubts. It's more just, those nagging little negative thoughts that any sports fan has, particularly Chicago sports fans, with what we've experienced over the last existence. You want to be hopeful. And don't get me wrong, I'm very hopeful. I think this team is very capable of bringing home a championship this year. But at the same time, I'm not going to be naive and say, they're going to go 12-0 in the postseason or 11-0 in the postseason and just wreck everything and nobody's going to be able to stop this team. Like, they have their weaknesses. They have their flaws. Those flaws hopefully won't be exploited too horribly, particularly if they put together a good postseason pitching rotation. And that's the thing that's going to carry this team. It's the same thing that carried them in 2005. It's the same thing that carries every good late playoff run is pitching. This team has the pitching to do it when the pitching is on point. The offense follows the pitching. We were talking about it at the beginning of the show, before the show. This team follows their pitchers. So as long as the pitchers show up, this team is absolutely fine. As long as you put Keuchel in the bullpen, you don't have to worry about that. And as long as you don't throw Reynaldo Lopez more than 3 innings, you don't have to worry about that.
I'd like to point out, too, that Houston lost a game to Texas earlier last week. They've lost games to the Angels. All these things that the White Sox have dealt with, teams like Houston has dealt with, too. And I don't know about that I'm delusional because I think the White Sox can win a playoff series when they're on pace for 95 games.
What do you mean by not winning Jack? Because literally tomorrow they could win the division.
Yeah, division title.
No, I mean make the playoffs, but whatever. They're going to win the division.
Yeah.
No, that would be the division.
Is it the division tomorrow?
Yeah,
it's the division title. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're less than 24 hours away, less than 18 hours away from potentially winning a division. So I don't know what this comment's about other than just trolling and trying to make us talk.
Yeah, that just makes no sense.
And literally, I mean, we could easily beat the Astros in a series, and then whoever we would play in the ALCS, I think we could easily beat them too. So yeah,
and I believe they can lose all of those series too. It would make you delusional to think you're just guaranteed to roll through everyone.
Absolutely.
But to think that they don't have a chance against any of these teams, they're got a winning record at home against all these teams, and they have a losing record mostly against all these teams on the road. So what does that say about those teams? Tampa came here and got mowed down 2 out of 3 times. The only game they won is the one that Glasnow started, and he's out for the season. So I don't want to hear anything about it being impossible or delusional to think that the White Sox can win a playoff series. Yeah. I'm not going to full blown say that it's like a lock. No team is a lock. No team has been 2018 Red Sox good this year, or we have a very 2019-ish type season on our hands where it's like
absolutely
Nationals won a wild card game and then went on and won the thing. It's wide open.
It's like PZ says below. It's all about who gets hot at the right time, and that's what it's about. Most years in baseball.
Exactly.
Black Rain seems to think that Tampa will destroy us. I don't think so necessarily.
Tampa might get destroyed by the Red Sox or Blue Jays.
I will say this: if the White Sox can manage home field advantage, they are a very good home team. If they end up a 1 seed, which is not out of the realm of possibilities still. They could still get the 1 seed. If the Sox get the 1 seed and the road to the World Series goes through Chicago, it's going to be hard to beat them. It's going to be hard to beat them, especially against teams above 500 at home this year. They've been above 500.
And what rules in the playoffs? What rules in the playoffs year after year? The World Series champion, you look at them and say they were good at this.
Yes.
It's pitching.
It's pitching every year.
What do the White Sox? What has been their forte all season long?
Yes,
pitching.
It's pitching,
and that's really what it comes down to. Honest to God. And you had a comment here. Once a team gets in the playoffs, anything is possible. That's the truth. I mean, Yeah, every dog has their day, and it could be literally anybody. And I mean, let me look at the Cubs in 2016. I mean, not to point at the friendly confines guys, but I mean,
Okay,
I didn't expect them to actually win it in 16.
look at the Sox in 05. They came out of nowhere, all because of a good starting five.
Yep.
And let me remind you that the Sox in 05 also got really cold towards the end. Very reminiscent of kind of what the team is doing right now. I don't want to put too many strings together. They're not in danger of losing the division this time. They were in 05. But I don't know. I just kind of have a similar vibe in my brain for these teams. Although I would say this team is probably much more talented, and I'm sure Vinny would probably agree with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's funny too. Like,
Yeah, so
if you consider if they had maybe even, let's say if they had Robert for the entire year, they'd probably win 100 games.
And Grandal.
easy.
Yeah. So like I said, the injuries have been bad, and I think a lot of the injuries right now, it's just I think maintenance more though than actually guys being hurt. Like I think they would be playing, like I said earlier, I think they would be playing if the division was more of a risk. But I think Tony's doing it right as far as trying to make sure that let's make sure we're not having any lingering issues going into the postseason. We'll have everyone on board, and I think I'll take. I'm not saying obviously they're guaranteed to go all the way and win, but I'll take anyone. I'll take this team against anyone.
Yeah,
I'm with you, man. That's
Salim,
how I feel.
did you hear my stat before we brought you on about being 3-0 with the big six in the lineup?
Yeah, that's
it's insane.
But and that's what it's. That's been the thing all season. It's like we haven't had them all in the lineup, and it's a tough lineup to go through. And then you combine that with our pitching, like we've been saying all show so far. It's that team's dangerous. We're worried about Tampa. Yeah, Tampa is worried about us.
Yes, exactly. That's how the baseball playoffs should be. A bunch of 90-plus wins teams playing each other in playoff series where any of them can win. Black Rain could be very right about Tampa versus Giants in the World Series, but the Dodgers could come in and smoke the Giants in a 5-game series with Kershaw and Buehler and Scherzer just like anybody else, and Tampa Bay could get mowed down by Toronto or Boston, whoever wins the wild card game. Like, anything can happen.
Anything can happen. And go ahead.
Oh, sorry, go ahead. No, I was gonna say, like, randomly, just been thinking about Robert too. How freak of an athlete is this guy? Like, he missed I
love it.
Majority of the season, he's come back like he's been playing all year. It's like, dude, like.
Yeah,
like
he'd be the best player on
unreal.
field, that's for sure.
Yeah, he's just like one of these guys that generationally you're lucky to have.
Yeah,
he's definitely a generational talent, man.
We
I
do have
know
a
it's
score
White
update
Sox
from
fans. What is it,
Go
man?
ahead.
Tell us the score update.
Yeah, the Royals are up 4-1 over Cleveland now. So the magic number and it's the top of the 6th of a 7-inning doubleheader second game. So the magic number being at minimum 2. It's looking pretty decent right now.
Yeah, we could. Gonzo predicted that they would clinch tomorrow on the 21st.
and he did that like a month ago. Like he didn't just say this last week. Like he said this 3-4 weeks ago. So
yeah, so props to him. Hopefully we'll see what happens. But Salim, you were talking a little bit about our buddy Tony La Russa. And we do a segment every week where we critique, we love him, we give him hugs and kisses. I mean, maybe not really, that's kind of creepy, but it's a segment we like to call La Russa's Locker.
I want it on record.
Go ahead.
I want it on record that I would give him a hug and a kiss if they win the World Series. I wouldn't even hesitate. I wouldn't even think twice, without question.
I was going to say, if I ever say it again without them winning the World Series, just slap me. But I really don't want to give him a hug and kiss, only if he wins the World Series. But then again, it's Tony La Russa. It is what it is. But this is what we do. We critique him. We give him all the love. What was good, what was bad, all the above with Tony this week. And The number one thing that comes to mind with me is some questionable lineup choices. I feel like, he's been doing that all year long, and kind of it's been working, but I feel like it didn't work this past week. I feel like he maybe got a little too cute, but he's also trying to rest guys for the playoffs, so I understand that aspect of it. Zim, what do you make of these kind of crazy lineups that we've been seeing from Tony?
Well, it's like what Salim alluded to earlier, where he's just trying to make sure that I think this team is really ready for the playoffs health-wise. We're trying to create this whole cohesive team right now, and no one guy is more important than that. So that's why I think we've been seeing these weird lineups with, Gavin Sheets at first base tonight with random outfielders sort of thrown in there. I've seen 4 or 5 different guys in the last 2 weeks at the DH, just kind of throwing whoever, wherever, in order to just kind of allow the guys who need the rest to get the rest. It's sort of what we talked about last week with him, or with the organization rather, manipulating the IL a little bit to give these guys some rest, particularly the starting pitchers. It's the same thing now, but with the fielders, with the everyday guys, and the same concept with bringing Engel back. I don't think Tony, if I'm being completely honest, I don't think Tony cares at all right now about these games that are happening. I think he is 100% already in the mindset of, what are we doing in October? He's over these games. He's done with them. These games are a formality to him at this point.
And this game that's on right now is proof of that. So far, the relievers used in this game have been, okay, so I would consider Crochet part of the A team, but then he's used Ruiz and Burr. And now he's back to Kimbrel, who's for sure part of the A team. So it's like he's just clearly giving guys innings regardless of their status in the bullpen. So I'm with you 100%.
Let me ask you, don't you guys think Ruiz will be part of the playoff rotation?
He'll be in the bullpen in the playoffs. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, 100%. I'm not sure he'll come into too many high leverage situations the way a Michael Kopech, a Craig Kimbrel, a Garrett Crochet will. Aaron Bummer. People forget that we also have Tepera. He'll be back. He's a high leverage level guy. He's an A+ level guy. So Ruiz might be, if there's ever a playoff game that they happen to go ahead like by a lot or get down by a lot. Hopefully not.
I don't even think necessarily getting up by a lot, but say you have a situation where, you win a close game 2 days before and you use 5, 6, 7 pitchers to get through that game because it's, I don't know, some extra innings nightmare, right? Because in the playoffs, we don't have this runner on second rule anymore. That shit's gone. That terrible, terrible rule is gone. And, that's where I think Ruiz comes into play. I don't think he comes in unless I don't think he comes into a 1-run ball game. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
I think he comes in like a 3-1 game though. I think
he might be one of the better final relievers in a bullpen, like last man on the roster than most playoff teams.
He comes into the 7th inning in a 4-4 ball game where you just need to get through to the setup and the closer,
Yeah.
I think Tony has a much higher opinion of him than the fan base does. But it's more just because the fan base hasn't seen a whole lot of him.
That's true. That's a good point. Well, someone the fan base has seen a lot of, Zim, and this is another thing I want to bring up to Vinny, is the news that came out about Abreu resting. Vinny has been writing about this and covering this. I got to get your thoughts on this from Tony.
Yeah, so Abreu leads the White Sox in games played with 142. So he's only missed 6 or 7 games this season. Going into this game, Yohan Moncada was in second place, and he trailed Abreu by 10. So that's kind of a lot between the first and second most played games on the team. And it's also kind of funny because people think Moncada's like this soft player. He's the second most played player. He don't get injured as often as people think. But Abreu, he plays through anything really. The one thing that took him out was when he ran into Hunter Dozier on the Royals earlier this season trying to field the fly ball. I mean, dude gets hit in the head, he'll stand right up and run to first base. He does not like missing an inning, but it seems like he's bought in. He's ready to go for the playoffs. He admitted that it's okay to take a couple days rest here or rest every other game, kind of the Tim Anderson thing that's going on right now, and a little of the same. So
Exactly.
Abreu seems cool with it. He knows what the ultimate goal is. And that's what I like about what's going on with Tony. Everyone is bought in. Tim will sit when he needs to. Don't think they don't know that they've only all 6 of the big boys played together 3 times. Don't think they don't know that. Don't think they wish they could absolutely play in these games together at the same time for once in their life. They know that day's coming.
You know what's fun? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. You're good.
No, go for it, man.
Another thing I wanted to randomly bring up, I've never seen in a baseball team where one player, like a guy like Tim Anderson can affect the entire team so much. I feel like when he's not in the lineup, this team is completely different. And the moment he's back in the lineup, like he makes an impact. Like because I'm a big NBA guy. Basketball is my favorite in general, but like you see, because it's a there's only 5 guys on the court, so one player has a much bigger impact than it would in any other sport. But it's just interesting to see that how the team's energy and everything involved is just completely different when Tim Anderson's playing.
No, it's absolutely true. He has a case for being the captain of this team, just as much as Jose Abreu does.
Totally.
When Abreu is gone, Anderson will still be here and he will earn the C. But Salim, that you're not imagining that though. He really is the spark to this offense. There was a stat that I found a few weeks ago, and I don't know how updated it is, but at that point in time, this was at the beginning of September, end of August, somewhere in that range. The White Sox were averaging over 2 runs an inning when Tim Anderson got a hit in the inning. And they were averaging about a half a run an inning when he was not getting a hit in the inning. And that just absolutely goes to show what a spark plug he is for this offense.
He really is.
Yeah. Now, continuing on these questionable decisions that we've seen from La Russa, particularly with the lineup and stuff, the pitching rotation is continuing to be odd, to say the least. They've got everybody back from IL, and yet we are still seeing a scheduled start on the schedule this Wednesday. I said schedule a lot there.
Schedule.
Yeah, we are seeing Reynaldo Lopez slated to start on Wednesday against the Tigers. And why is all I can say. I thought that's what these IL stints were for. I praised him for doing it before. I want to make that clear. I am not upset with him for these wacky lineups he's been throwing out there, because I do think he's looking forward to October. I am slightly, very slightly critical of this decision, because Lopez has been iffy at best. He came out when he came back up from AAA with a couple good starts, but outside of those, the guy can make it like 3 innings, and then it's just a bullpen game at that point. So
they're running a 6-man rotation because Lucas Giolito, recent IL stint. Lance Lynn, recent IL stint. Carlos Rodon, noted arm fatigue, recent IL stint. Dylan Cease, first full MLB season. And Dallas Keuchel, he's a veteran. He's eaten a lot of innings. We get on him a lot. He has eaten up a lot of innings and helped the White Sox win some games, especially earlier this season. We could be critical of him all we want. He's an MLB veteran that has a Cy Young and a World Series ring. I think having the 6-man rotation to end the season is just a product of the recent events of Keuchel struggling, Cease being a newbie, and Rodon, Giolito, Lynn, all dealing with a little something.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I think so. And go for it, Salim.
No, I was gonna say, do you guys think by maybe the Reds series? I know it's like only 2 games, and then you got the Tigers. So by the Reds series, maybe you go with your playoff rotation to try to get comfortable, or does that not matter? You just kind of wait it out.
Rodon only has
I
one
probably
more
feel
start.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think Rodon will take that one start, and I think they'll just plow their way through into the postseason, because I imagine, I don't know exactly know when the first games are, but it sounds like we're not going to have home field advantage, at least based off of the records right now, unless things greatly change here in the last couple of weeks. But Vinny, I believe Houston's got like four or 5 games on us right now, don't they?
They have a 3-game lead, but they have the tiebreaker. So the White Sox need to be 4 wins better than them.
Okay.
But by the playoffs, I'm not positive that that's going to happen, because I do think the White Sox are probably going to clinch sooner than Houston. I'm not sure their magic number, but I know Oakland's a little bit better than Cleveland in terms of being a second-place team. So I'm not sure. I wouldn't be surprised if later on you get a start from Mike Wright Jr. or, I don't know, not Bummer. Maybe they'll call up a Lambert or something for a 1-game type deal. They can have an extra roster spot on Friday for the doubleheader. That'll come into play. I'm not sure the rotation going into the playoffs will line up perfectly. I think they're going to Rodon will have plenty of rest. He'll have a week or so. If Lynn's last start of the season comes on that Wednesday before, he'll be done. Game 1 playoffs will be his next start. So I do think there's going to be a weird starter here and there after they clinch.
Houston's magic number is 8, by the way.
8.
Yeah, so we'll definitely clinch first.
That clearly shows that compared to the Oakland Athletics as a second-place team, the Cleveland Indians have just been a complete dud of a second-place team. Mm-hmm. And with that, we would like to send you to the Adam Dud of the Week.
Oh, I love the setup. Nice job,
You
Vinny.
suck.
You suck.
Stupid. Lousy. No excuse.
What a dud. What a total dud.
Yeah, this is the Adam Dud of the Week segment where we talk about players that stunk up the place. And there's a few of them this week. There's a few honorary mentions for sure.
Craig Kimbrell just gave up the lead.
Oh, great. I don't have it on.
There's your little
Spoiler
Sox
alert.
update for the night. Sorry.
Well, that'll be a new drop now. It's like, oh, Kimbrell gave up the lead.
Yeah.
But no, he's not a nominee for the dud right now, but maybe he will be next week. Hopefully not. But we're going to talk about the players that stunk it up. And Zim, since I'm talking to you, I'll let you lead things off. Who's your nominee for Adam Dud of the Week?
Oh, the guy I just talked about, Reynaldo Lopez. I don't have stats off the top of my head. I know he had a really bad start.
I can tell he had a bad start. He
4 innings pitched,
he went
7 hits, 7 earned runs. Am I seeing the right one there?
Yep, that's
from
right.
a couple weeks ago, isn't it? No, it's from from 4 days ago. Wow, that feels longer than that. That's upsetting. I thought that game was way behind us, and it clearly is not.
It's been a long week, man. It's been a long week.
Yeah, I genuinely thought that game was longer ago, and that actually is a little upsetting that he's getting a start a week after doing that. I understand the 6-man rotation, but they have a 5-game series right after that as Kimbrell gives up a ball back. Okay, it's just at the track. Okay, we're good. Did not give up the home run that I thought he was about to.
And it was Haas too. It was Eric Haas, who's a White Sox killer.
Yeah. No, I very easily would have just said, never mind, it's Kimbrell for this disaster of an inning he's putting together. But no, Lopez, he's not been good outside of those first 2 starts he had. His ERA says otherwise. He's only got a 3.0 ERA, but he's 3-3. He is just, I don't know. I've already said what I've got to say about Lopez. I said it before because I'm just not a fan of the way he's handled himself this season, unfortunately. It looked like he really had improved when he was down in AAA, and he is back to being the same old Reynaldo Lopez we know and no.
He'll be back. I have a feeling he will be. And, there's a lot of players this week, Salim, that didn't perform. Oh, go ahead, Zim.
That raises a question. We asked about Ruiz on the playoff roster. What do you guys think about Lopez? I know we've talked about it in weeks past, but as it stands today, right now, would you put him on the playoff roster?
I personally would.
I mean, I would as well. I mean, I think you have to put some stock into how good he's been the last 2 months, basically. He's been clutch. And I know our buddy Vinny here probably feels the same way.
He's been fine as a reliever. He wouldn't make a single start for me, probably ever again.
Okay.
But he's been fine as a reliever.
Yeah,
I'd rather
as
him
a starter. I agree.
I'd rather him in the bullpen than Mike Wright Jr. and possibly even Ryan Burr.
That's it. That alludes to what I was saying earlier with the whole I wouldn't ever let him be out there for more than 3 innings.
Yeah, no doubt.
Doesn't he do this a lot though? Like outside of going 3 innings, randomly he'll have a game or a couple of games every season at later into the season where he just looks really good, and then he will have his stinkers again. He does this like every year, I feel like.
Yes and no. I mean, I feel like he's kind of changed as a reliever to me, and I think that's why I love him in this playoff roster, and it's that experience there too. So I feel good about that. But Salim, I wanted to ask you, there's a lot of guys that underperformed this week. We got a couple of names in the chat like Sheets, Cesar, Goodwin. Who's someone that stood out to you this last week that kind of pooped the bed?
Yeah, I was gonna also say Lopez, just because he gave up against the Angels. He went he went 4 innings, gave up 6 runs.
He got ripped apart.
I was surprised that he only had a 3.0 ERA. I guess he probably hasn't. I guess it makes sense since he probably hasn't pitched much overall. But yeah,
he was just so good for that first month. I mean, he didn't get a 0 ERA for what felt like it seriously felt like it was a month. He didn't give up a run. It was probably not quite that much, but he's definitely been good. So yeah, it's kind of alarming to see that. But I mean, he can't be perfect forever. A guy that I want to spotlight here too as a bit of a dud is, Eloy Jimenez. And I know I don't get to put him on here too much because I feel like, we're always praising Eloy and for good reason. But, this week he only went 4 for 20. He had 6 strikeouts. He only got on 1 walk. The guy had literally 1 RBI all week, scored 1 run. It was just a tough week for him behind the plate. The strikeout count is a little alarming to me because I know Eloy does swing and miss sometimes, but he was not seeing the ball well this week. I'd much rather him do this before the playoffs start, but should I be looking into this at all, Vinny? Like, should I be concerned at all? Because Eloy just looked lost at the plate, and I'm not used to saying that about him.
He broke out of it. It's over. I'm saying it. Today was the day that Eloy Jimenez broke out of it. He had a sweet double earlier tonight that's plated a run. It's not going to matter because they're about to lose. But it would have been gone in any other ballpark. Detroit's ballpark, I see that comment about Texas's ballpark. Detroit's worse. Detroit's way worse in terms of the long ball. It would have been a home run in 25 other ballparks. So I'm predicting that he's out of it. I'm not worried about Eloy. He's an elite hitter. When he sees the ball well, he sees the ball well. And that happens to great pitchers or to great hitters when they get in a little slump. They start squeezing the bat a little too much. They start swinging it funky. Sure. You start getting under it. Eloy, it's hard to be worried about a guy that talented who can hit 50 home runs and have 120 RBIs.
For sure, man. Is there someone else this week that tickles your fancy for the Adam Dud?
It never tickles my fancy to call any White Sox player bad, but I'm going to go with Brian Goodwin. He's had a good year. He's been a pleasant surprise. He's up to bat right now, and there's absolutely no way he ties the game right now and makes me look stupid. Please, Brian. It was a nice story. He's not going to be like a playoff starter or anything like that. Andrew Vaughn plays over him. Gavin Sheets, I would even say, plays over him. Adam Engel's being activated tomorrow. So, Brian Goodwin, it was nice to have you this season. I know you're going to make the playoff roster, and I hope you get a ring, but it just hasn't been it lately.
Yeah, I'm putting up his stat line right now. He had a bit of a brutal week. He went 0 for 7 for the walk.
He grounds out the second base to end the game.
Wah, wah.
Yeah,
There you
not
go,
great.
Brian Goodwin. You are the Adam Dud of the week.
They
Yeah.
always
Right on
lose
cue.
on Monday. Have you guys noticed that?
No, they've won on a couple Mondays. Didn't they hit a walk-off while we were live?
Yes, Gavin Sheets did, but their record on Monday is bad.
They are bad
Take a
on
look.
Mondays.
It's
Oh,
Joe's
Zim's
fault.
going to pull up the. Don't even talk about that. So Salim, you may or may not have heard about this, but we'll let you hear. I've gone to 7 games this year, 7 Sox games, and they are 0-7 when I'm in attendance. These guys are calling it the real quick. They're calling it the curse of the Bam. They're calling it the curse of the Bambino. So I got to get your thoughts. If I can break it, I've been told I'm banned from playoff games, but I'm going to be in attendance.
I think you can. It's funny. I'm there with you. I feel like anytime I go to a game, I want to say it's been about like 5 years now that I don't think they've won a game. It's just I'm bad luck. I think for them, it's weird. I've been to 2 games this year, and they lost both of them. And I was like, what the hell? It doesn't matter who's pitching. Like I remember like years back when I went to a Sale game, and I was like, I figure that's a win. Nope. One of his random games where he got like shelled. I was like, what the hell's going on, man? I am definitely bad luck for this team.
Yeah, it's maybe it's both of us, Salim. But either way, they're going to pull it together during the playoffs. I feel it in my bones. But we do have Zim was kind enough to pull the stats for us for the White Sox performance on Mondays this season. Here it is. Let's take a look on the screen. The White Sox are 7-6 on Monday nights, which
I would like to know.
I missed one actually. They're 8-6.
I would like to know what the record is on Mondays since it's way too figured.
I'm actually looking. I am looking that up right now.
Since I joined, because it just feels like they lose every time.
That's all right. It's not anyone's fault particularly.
They are 3-6 since Vinny joined the show on Mondays.
All
all 6 of those losses. No. All 6 of those losses have come since Vinny joined the show.
Well, there you go.
I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy.
No, you actually are not. Interesting.
Long story short, it's my fault somehow, some way. But
yeah, because you invited Vinny on.
That's right. Oh, yeah, maybe.
Zim takes no credit for having me join the show. It's all Joe's fault.
Oh no, I was all about it when he suggested it, but
so.
Yeah, I had no part in that.
That's right. Well, Salim, our buddy. I have a little echo. I don't know where it's coming from, but that's okay. Our buddy
Hawk Harrelson on everything now.
Yeah, no, it's my fault. I'm sure it's my fault. But our buddy Hawk Harrelson had a trademark when someone hits a home run. Do you remember what did he used to say, Salim? I can't remember.
Stretch. You can put it on the board. Yes.
Ball hit deep. Way back. He looks up. You can put it on the board. Yes.
I like it. Salim even had the stretch and everything in there. It's perfect. But yeah, this is the polar opposite of the Adam Dud segment. And this is one where we talk about guys that absolutely just lit it up and set the world on fire. And there's a few of those guys this week. Those bats were pretty hot the last 7 days. So, Salim, I know you've been watching Sox games too. We'll let you lead this one off. Is there someone in particular that, really caught your eye this week from the White Sox?
Ooh, tough going first. I'm thinking here. I mean,
that's all right. I could pass the baton. We can come back to you in a minute. So here, I'll go with one first, since I feel like I always go last with myself as main host. But let's see here. I'm gonna go with a guy that had an under the radar week, but I don't think it can be undervalued. And I'm gonna go with Romy Gonzalez. He hit 313 this week. He went 5 for 16, 2 doubles. He had a walk. He scored himself 3 runs. This is a guy that's getting on base, and he's had some quality at bats I know he didn't do a lot in terms of like scoring runs or RBI, but this is a guy that it's going to be important to have him on base. And I can see him, being a pinch runner. He's kind of setting the tone for some of these other guys around him. For someone that I had no expectations for whatsoever. I mean, I know he's a quality prospect and he's going to be good in this league, but I want to give him props where props are due. So I'm going to go with Romy Gonzalez as my put it on the board player of the week, because I don't want to take one of the top dogs, because I feel like Romy deserves a little time in the limelight. So he is my pick to click for this week. Vinny, who you got?
Luis Robert. He's been one of the best players in the league. I mean, when you start thinking of the best players around baseball, you go Mike Trout, Shohei Ohtani, okay, they're S tier. Then you start looking into A tier, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Aaron Judge. You could start naming some pitchers. Luis Robert, Juan Soto, Aaron Judge, or Luis Robert's in that mix. He just is. He's so good at everything. He can hit, run, play the position of center field as good as any center fielder in the league, which is a premier position. And he crushes baseballs. I mean, every time he hits a home run, it's like that ball may never land. I mean, this last week he went 10 for 27 with a 370 average, a bomb, 6 RBIs, 1 walk. He's just unbelievable.
Actually, it's better than that. I have to pull the updated stats. Actually, let me read you the real ones. I apologize for that error, but the actual stats are much better than that. Luis Robert this week, he went 9 for 22, batted .409 with 5 ribbies, a home run, 4 runs scored. I mean, 409, Vinny. This kid is insane.
Yeah. He's one of the best players they've ever had, and he just got there.
I can't wait to see what this kid does the rest of his career. We're in for a treat.
Yeah.
So, Luis, we're going to go with Romy. How about our buddy Salim? You got to put on the board player?
I'll say Grandal. He's been hitting it well since he's gotten back. I know a lot of people get mad at him for only getting walks. I mean, I like Grandal. I like his patience at the plate, reliable to get on base. But I mean, I feel like he's done well. He has an RBI hit today. He did well against Texas. I think only other than the first game. Yeah, I think Grandal, he's been hitting well since he's come back, and he's been consistent.
I love it, man. Yeah, he had 2 homers last week, and while his average was still a little over 200 this week, he still had 3 walks, like you said. So you got to value that for sure. So yeah, Grandal's been an MVP candidate since he's come back, and I totally agree. Steven Zim, Mr. Zim Zimmerman, who is your put on the board player of the week? And I know you're going to say your guy, but you got another guy that you want to talk about.
Robert. Just real quick, I know I rip on Yasmani Grandal a lot because he had another pass ball tonight. The guy is a terrible defensive catcher. You will never convince me otherwise. The guy is terrible. And just some numbers to back that up. He has the second most pass balls in the league this year with 81. That is pass balls, not wild pitches. That is balls that he should have caught that he didn't. The guy just, for a catcher, he seems to have a lot of problems catching the ball. So
it's a problem, yeah.
You know what? He's a great hitter, though. I would love to see him as a DH. Unfortunately, we've got Abreu there. The guy sees the ball so well in the batter's box. He really does. If Salim hadn't given him his nod, like I might have actually had to bend my rules of never selecting Yasmani Grandal for this category. Because I mean, this is like two, three times this season that somebody has bailed me out on not having to select him because his defense is so bad that I just can't justify it. But his hitting is so good the other direction that it's like, what do you do with this guy? I guess the solution is just to, make him your everyday catcher and
you put him in the lineup every day. That's the solution.
And hope that nobody notices him back there.
Yeah.
But no, if I have to legitimately make a pick, somebody that you guys haven't picked, Larry Garcia. Larry Garcia is a guy that I picked earlier in the season as my pick to click one week and got ridiculed for. And this is now 2 weeks in a row that we've discussed him in the Put It On the Board Players of the Week. He is
great week.
really starting to step it up at a critical time in the season. And, my argument at that point in time was Lurie's a guy who's not going to be hot very often, but when he gets hot, it's always really helpful and beneficial to the team. And that's what's happened in the last week. He's helped elevate some of these wins. Am I crazy in thinking he had a walk-off at some point in the last week?
He did. He had a walk-off last week.
There
That's
you
when
go.
he was talking about he's not a utility player.
Thank you. That was last
It was against
Sunday.
Boston.
Right. That was last Sunday against Boston. Yes. So yeah, I mean, Lurie he's gonna be, sorry, Tony, but he's gonna be the utility guy on this playoff roster. He's going to be the first guy off the bench. He's your sixth man, if you want to put it that way, since we got a basketball guest on the show tonight. That's where you go with him.
That
He's
works.
the first guy up when you need somebody. And I think he's proven that. I think he's absolutely accepted that role, because sure, he could be justified as an everyday guy, but what he is, he's a role player. And he's done it so well. And this week, he's ripped off 7 for 24 for a 292 average, which is for a guy like this, that's overperforming. In his last 15 games, he has a 340 average. So over these last 2 weeks that I've said we've mentioned him, he has played second base,
it's a good
third
problem.
base, shortstop,
It's a great
center,
problem to
left,
have.
right. That's it. He plays everywhere. The only positions he hasn't played are catcher and first base. Like, the guy's exactly what you want. He is exactly what you want. Only 2 strikeouts on top of it tells me he's seeing the ball really, really well, and this isn't going to let up anytime soon.
No, I don't think it is.
And with Engel coming back, I think that guys like Romy Gonzalez, guys like Brian Goodwin are going to be the ones that unfortunately suffer the repercussions of that. Whereas Larry Garcia has clearly earned Tony's favor and will continue to get these opportunities.
Yeah, well, like you said, he's not a utility player. We'll see about that. But let's get to our pick to click section of the show, guys. I'm going to give you last week's Zim because you took Luis Robert. He set the world on fire. So you're going to get the win there. So naturally, you'll get the first choice here of everybody.
Yeah, let it ride.
I'm assuming you're going to let it ride.
Luis Robert has carried me to win this category 3 of the last 4 weeks. I am trying to close this gap on Chris, who is not here tonight. Has Chris texted you a pick, or is he forfeiting next week?
He has not given me a pick, so I'm going to pick one for him, a decent pick. He gets last pick anyway because he's in first, so we'll make sure we pick him someone halfway decent. He's busy tonight, but I don't blame him, but that's all right. So you're going to go with Luis Robert.
Yeah,
Salim,
no explanation needed.
Yeah. So Salim, I know you're a guest with us tonight, but who's someone that you think is going to go red hot this upcoming week, or someone that you think is your pick to click?
Let's go with MVP Abreu. Why not? He's been hitting it consistently.
Like that.
He's August and September. August is obviously his month every year. He'll be dead, and then August will come, and he looks like has 30 home runs in August. It seems like, yeah, he climbs back. It's just funny. Like you look at his numbers, it's like, oh, he's going to be a 30 and 100 guy again. And
he makes it look easy.
Yeah, it's consistently every year. He just does it, and obviously he has his slow starts, but yeah, I'll go with Abreu.
I like it, man. Vinny, who are you gonna go with?
I'm gonna go with my guy. He's not as powerful as some of the other guys that you could choose, but
the whole team is your guy, Vinny.
You're not wrong. You put on that uniform, you're my guy. But my guy, Yohan Moncada, Mr. Desastre Personnel himself, I will roll with him, assuming that he just continues to be as good as he's been. Elite third base. He made a play at third base today that was just unbelievable. I know defensive stats don't go into picks to click, but I definitely think he's going to have a big week coming up here just to continue it into the playoffs. So, Yohan Moncada.
I like it, man.
Oh, did I miss?
Oh,
sorry. I was gonna say I didn't mean to interrupt there, but is
good.
Jose out for the week? Is Jose out for the week, or was it just today?
No,
he's just gonna rest every now and again.
Okay.
Yeah, he'll get his at bats this week. Salim, you're good. I was gonna say I'm gonna step a little outside of the box with my pick. Just because I feel like I need to ride a hot hand who I think can get hot, and he needs to get hot before the playoffs. I'm going to go with off the IL. I'm going to go with Adam Engel for the week coming up. I feel like he's going to get a lot of playing time to get him back in the swing of things. Hopefully he comes hot and his bat goes crazy. So I'm going to go with Adam Engel. I'm probably insane, but you know what? I feel it. I feel good about it. So we're giving 20 seconds to our buddy Gonzo to make a pick.
Yeah,
but
I'm just trying to I'm trying to blow up our little group chat enough to get his attention. But if he's busy, he's busy. I have a guy in mind that I don't think he'd be upset if we picked for him.
I feel like he wouldn't mind if we took Eloy for him.
I was actually gonna say Dylan Cease.
He's picked Dylan Cease like 3 times this year.
Yeah, but they have an upcoming 5-game series in which Cease could potentially get 2 starts.
I don't know. I think the safer bet for him not being here,
that's
for
fair.
me personally, is Eloy. But what do you think, Vinny? You can be the tiebreaker.
Yeah, I don't know about that. 2 starts in one series just because 2 of the games are in one day. So that second game is going to be like a non-traditional starter. It'll probably be like Jimmy Lambert or something. Yeah. So give him Eloy.
Are you sure we don't want to give him like Ryan Tepera?
I mean, I'm actually cool with giving him Cease because I think that decreases his chance to win.
I'm trying to get in Gonzo's head right now, and it's a scary place to be because he goes much different places than I do. So I don't know.
Let's be honest. None of us can catch him anyway in the standings. He's,
sure I can. If I win every week from here on out, I might.
He's won 11 out of 26.
You might need to win a couple in the winter when like the winner of Picks to Click goes to the guy who like makes the funniest Instagram post or something.
Yeah, it's definitely not going to be me. I can tell you that.
Don't we have a playoff schedule already? We could do the math. We'll figure it out when we're not, live. But I feel like it could be done.
We'll figure it out. But Gonzo's already our champion. Yeah.
Well, how about this? How about this? I'll make 2 picks. All right. If both of them are unarguably the best 2 players in that week, I get both points. But if only one of them is, I get no points and it goes to the next guy.
No.
We have a pick from Gonzo.
We actually have a pick from Gonzo.
See, we killed enough time.
We killed enough time. He's going to go with Yasmani Grandal as his pick. But I can't believe none of us took.
But if he has more than 3 pass balls this week, he automatically loses.
No, that's
making up different rules as you go along, right?
Yeah, in September.
It's because he's kicking our ass, Salim. That's why. But so we're going to take a quick commercial break here in just a second. Afterwards, we're going to go through the schedule coming up for the White Sox. And then we're going to talk about our picks for the 2021 White Sox playoff anthem. In 05, the Sox said, "Don't stop believing." We're going to tell you what our picks are coming up here shortly after the break. Chat room, make sure you let us know what your picks are. But we're going to take about a 2.5-minute commercial break from our barroom sponsor. And then we will be right back with South Burbs Hitmen.
South Burbs Hitmen will be right back. return to South Burbs Hitmen.
And we are back with the South Burbs Hitmen. Of course, we're joined by our guest Salim Suterwalla from the Bulls Gold podcast. And of course, Science Fliction coming to the Ballroom Network. And here we are getting ready to talk about the week ahead for the Chicago White Sox in a little segment we like to call White Sox Weekly. So our buddy Chris Gonzalez, who usually takes this segment well, I don't want to say by what I was going to say, but he takes this segment by, I can't even talk today. Let's just talk about the schedule coming up. I think I've had a little bit too many old fashions this afternoon or this evening. All jokes aside, no one thinks that's funny. That's okay. But here we go. We're gonna tag team it. I can't even get through a sentence. What's going on over here? Anyway, we're having fun. That's all that matters. But we're going to quickly take a look through the schedule coming up, upcoming pitching matchups, and we're going to talk through it together. I know Gonzo usually takes it, but let's take a look at the week coming up here. Of course, the Sox ended up losing this game today. I'm going to blow this up so it's a little bit bigger for everybody to see. All right. That game's in the past, but let's look up what we got coming tomorrow. Dallas Keuchel versus Tyler Alexander. Keuchel has not looked great, but neither has Alexander. Neither of them has a winning record. Got Keuchel surprisingly more strikeouts on the season. This is one we really need to take, guys. The magic number looks like it's going to be at 2 this evening. Did the Indians/Guardians lose that second game, Vinny?
Yes, the game's over. The magic number's now 2.
The magic number's 2. So the quest continues to clinch this division. We'll see if we can get it done with a Sox win tomorrow and a Guardians loss. But Keuchel has to take the mound here. Vinny, we've seen a lot of up and down from Keuchel. I mean, last week he looked better than he has. What does this start mean for him before the playoffs?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Keuchel was 7-3 at one point, which is really sad because now he's 8-9, which means they just lose a bunch since he's been the starting pitcher. But it's an opportunity for him to have a good showing before the playoffs. He's probably got 1 or 2 more starts left. I'm not sure he's going to be part of the rotation during the postseason, although Tony La Russa did confirm after today's game that they are concerned about Carlos Rodon and his arm soreness and that they're hopeful that he can make 1 more start now. So that's a bit of an issue. But I don't know. I think Keuchel, he's got a lot to prove. He probably knows what's going on with Rodon, and he probably would rather be the guy than, let's say, Michael Kopech or something like that. Reynaldo Lopez even would be considered an option. It's definitely a worry that it's an issue right now. So hopefully Keuchel can have a good showing against Alexander. The White Sox bats, they scored 3, and it looked like they were going to go a long way tonight, and they fell 1 run short. So they need to light this guy up tomorrow.
Yeah, they do. And, they got to get some confidence in Keuchel before the postseason if he even wants to have a shot at this roster. So I'd like to see him come through strong tomorrow. Wednesday, Reynaldo Lopez, as Zim talked about earlier, getting the scheduled start. Going up against Casey Mize or Miz, I don't know the right way to pronounce it, but both guys with impressive ERAs. Mize has way more strikeouts on the season, 111. He's a strikeout pitcher. He's the kind of guy that the White Sox have notoriously had issues with. But Reynaldo got rocked. He's got a lot to prove coming into this matchup. I'm sure he wants to solidify his playoff roster. Zim, what do you need to see out of Reynaldo Lopez on Wednesday for you to have your worries softened?
I need to see him attack the lineup the second time through in an effective way. He's got the stuff to get through the first time, through the first time through the lineup. That makes sense, right? He can get through the first 9 batters, no problem. It's seeing those guys the second time around that he usually starts to kind of falter. And it's like, I don't need to see too much from him, but I would like to see him make it at least to the heart of the order the second time around without giving up a lot of runs. Make it to the 6, 7, 8 guys the second time through before coming out of the game. Give the bullpen kind of a fighting chance rather than just blowing it. And we're like, all right, well, who needs work today? So he definitely has the opportunity against this Detroit team that's kind of lacked a lot this season.
They've definitely lacked.
They're who you want to talk about who we thought they were. They're exactly who we thought they were.
You keep bringing it to the football references today, Zim. I like it.
But they're slightly above a bottom feeder team, but not by much. They're a team that's on more of an upswing than a downswing for sure. So there's pieces there, but the White Sox should be able to handle them. Now, after that, we've got a 5-game series, 5 games in 4 days as part of a makeup game from a previous, I think it was actually a Monday game that was rained out.
June 2nd.
So, not really sure what to look for there. I know that Gonzo would have looked a lot more closely into potential pitching matchups and whatnot, but I do have to say, looking at the Cleveland Indians or future Guardians pitching rotation this year, the White Sox have handled them pretty well. There's not anybody in particular that really strikes me as scary on that rotation. The guy that always kind of sticks out in my head is what's his name? Tristan McKenzie. He's a guy that he's kind of like Reynaldo Lopez, where he tends to struggle that second or third time through the lineup, but if he's got his stuff that day, he can shut down anybody in the league. So
yeah,
definitely a guy that I've got highlighted on my board for that series.
Yeah, it's interesting how the rotation is going to play out because, like you said, we have that 5 games in 4 days. Vinny, how do you see this rotation playing out here in Cleveland? Because I know right now it's kind of up in the air. How do you see it playing out?
Yeah, so we talked about Keuchel versus, on Wednesday. On Thursday, I am concerned about Casey Mize versus Reynaldo Lopez. Casey Mize is a future superstar. Like, I see him in the same vein as, like, a Lance Lynn or a Garrett Cole one day. Like, he's that good.
Yeah, he's a strikeout
and he's only
machine.
He's only gotten better as this season has gone along, as he kind of gets his feet wet in Major League Baseball for a full season. He actually made his MLB debut last season against the White Sox, and they lit him up the first couple times. Then the most recent time, they weren't so lucky against him. Against Cleveland, you will see Dylan Cease, Lucas Giolito, Lance Lynn, and then I don't know about Rodon's spot. You might see Dallas Keuchel, but in that second game on Friday, I think you'll either see Jimmy Lambert or Michael Kopech start the game. It also wouldn't surprise me if they gave Garrett Crochet a start. He's been so good. So good. So we'll see what happens there. I think against Cleveland, you'll see McKenzie. Bieber's out for the year. I think Detroit's better than Cleveland. I truly, from the bottom of my heart, do.
Fair.
If they catch them at 10 the season and be in second place, I wouldn't even be slightly surprised.
They're only 2 games behind them, I think.
Exactly. And they've had the best record. This is going to sound so bad to say because there are so many reasons for why this is the case, like resting players and stuff like that, not having everyone play. Detroit has the best record in the American League Central since the All-Star break by 1 game over the White Sox.
Wow.
So
that's impressive.
They're the only 2 teams over 500 since the All-Star break. They're the only 2 teams in the AL Central over 500 since like May 14th, I think the stat said. Detroit's been okay. This loss to me was annoying, kind of because how they lost it. They had a 3-0 lead. I need more from Kimbrel. But for the most part, that game was a game against a team who's just playing well. And they're going to be an issue for the next 5 years as the White Sox try to win multiple division titles in a row and see what they can do. The team I'm worried about the most long-term is Detroit. So going into that, we'll see what happens. But with Cleveland, they should be able to take care of their business against Cleveland, unless they rest everyone. That's why it's like, would they have won this game today if they had Abreu? Maybe. Maybe not. I don't know. It's so hard to evaluate at this point of a season with such a big lead. it's almost like infuriating because it's like, hey, White Sox, who are you? Because once the playoffs roll around, if they start rolling with the lineup the way we want to see it, no one would be surprised. But then
I don't think anyone knows.
If they falter against the Astros or something, we'll look at each other and be like, well, the writing was kind of on the wall. It really could go either way.
It really can.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of been the story of the season, right? Is like, once they all get healthy, they're amazing, but they can never stay on the field together. So maybe that's what Tony's doing. I'm sure that's what he's doing. And I think that's why I'm excited here for Soxtober coming up here to a theater near you or home television or a stadium near you, whatever you want to call it, but it's coming your way soon. And that perfectly segues into our hot topic conversation of the day. We're getting a little creative with it, and it's a segment we like to call the Guaranteed Take. Yay is right.
Did that get faster?
Yeah, I think
shorter.
Sometimes when the connection is a little iffy, it dances, it goes faster, it goes slower, it goes somewhere in between. So I'm sure it's just dancing around due to the internet gods having fun with us tonight. But I sent out a tweet earlier this week, and it kind of got my brain thinking about it. What in 2005 the White Sox had "Don't Stop Believin'" as their playoff anthem, right? Like, what is that song in 2021? I think that's a conversation that we got to have. So, what is the White Sox playoff anthem this year? Chat room, let us know your thoughts here. But no, I won't lead off with our guest. I'll lead off with Zim this time. Zim, what do you got for your pick for playoff anthem?
I had a lot of different thoughts for what this could potentially be. I really wanted to try to bring it into the 21st century because Journey sucks. Journey sucks so bad that I was just trying to distance myself from that band as much as possible. Don't Stop Believin' has got to be the most overplayed song of all time. It's not even good. And it's about Detroit, not Chicago. How can you actually have a song? How can any self-respecting Chicagoan say a song that has the word Detroit in it defines this bread and butter of a team, this beautiful, beautiful thing that we've got in front of us? But anyway, I really wanted to try and bring it in. I couldn't find one that was quite the 21st century. So I went with Waiting by Green Day, a song from the very, very late 20th century. And I the longer I listened to it, the more the words kept ringing out to me. Waiting a lifetime for this moment. Downtown lights will be shining, like a diamond ring. Like a diamond ring. That is what they're after here, right? The words just, there's too many metaphors and allegories that just line up so perfectly that I gotta go with Waiting by Green Day.
I've been waiting a long time for this moment to come. I'm destined for anything at all. Downtown lights will be shining on me like a new diamond ring out under the midnight hour. Well, no one can touch me now. Well, and
Solid choice, Zim. It's we have been waiting a long time. 2005 does feel like a lifetime ago. Solid choice there, man. And of course, I love that album Warning by Green Day. That's a solid
it's
choice.
Such a good album.
I love Warning.
Total side topic. We can talk about that for, I think, a half an hour on itself. So
I just saw Green Day 2 weeks ago, and now I want to go back, even though it was at trashy Wrigley Field.
Yeah.
Hey, at least you got to see him play. I sold my tickets, but I think I did okay on the resale on those, so I'm not too upset about it.
You did.
Like 500% profit, I'll take it. Sure, why not? We are getting some comments in from the chat room. Vincent says he wants to go with Desastre Personal from Yoan Moncada. That would actually be
That got me.
hilarious.
I should have said that. Damn it.
I really wanted to say that, but I was like, lyrically, it makes no sense. Like,
It's kind of sad.
Zim, can
really
you quickly pull it up and can you give us like 20 seconds of
I could sing it for you.
Desastre? You can sing it, Vinny. Let's hear it.
I'm pretty sure it's the number 1 played song on my Apple Music for the year 2021 so far. I'm not even kidding. I'm not even kidding. I don't even speak Spanish, but I know every word. It's wild.
Here, and I'll play. I'll have the stopwatch going so that we don't go over 30 seconds, so we stay within fair use.
Yeah, so we don't get banned because we're bad boys.
Bad boys for life. That's another one that would be hilarious.
Yeah, see, I associate that with Tom Brady. That's my Tom Brady song.
That's
That's my Tom Brady song. Me and Joey listen to it. We make a funny video every Super Bowl season when Tom's annually in the Super Bowl.
You got it, Zim, or should we move on?
can you guys not hear that coming through? Is it not coming through clear enough?
No.
My bad.
I hear nothing.
Let me see if my stuff's working.
Que me huevo loco si no te tengo. Mi desastre personal. I could sing it for
I'll
days.
pull it up on my phone.
I must not have something hooked up right on my end. That is my fault. I thought I had this hooked up, and I guess I don't.
It happens.
Sorry about that. It's coming through my monitor, so that's why.
Yeah, that's a song. That's just
Would we even get in trouble for like playing Yoan's song? Like, would he care?
Is he signed to a record label?
I don't know.
If it's been released under a record label, then we can get in trouble for it. If not, technically it is fair use.
I'm pretty sure he's on some sort of record label, but either way, it's under 30 seconds. So that's a great call out by Vincent. Another comment from Travis, a Texas favorite, Thunderstruck. That's classic White Sox. You know, makes me think of every time they introduce the team. PZ goes Back in Black. And my dad says, stick with Don't Stop Believing. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, no, it is broke, though. Steve Perry's voice is broke.
Well, Steve Perry's dying for an appearance to make a couple extra bucks, but that's beside the point. Salim, we'll let you critique all of our picks at the end, and you can pick the one that you like the best. How about we do it that way? Does that
Sounds good.
All right. So we're going to go with Gonzo's next because he's not here, but he did tell us his pick, and he's going to go a little Post Malone. So let's take a listen for Gonzo's pick, which is Congratulations by Post Malone.
My mama called, see you on TV, sunset done changed. Ever since we was on, I dreamed it all. Ever since I was young, they said I won't be nothing. Now they always say congratulations. Worked so hard, forgot how to vacation. They ain't never had the dedication. People hating, say we changing, look, we made it. Yeah, we made it.
It's a solid choice. You know, Post Malone's kind of like the modern hip-hop singing, little R&B action going on.
It was definitely
Congratulations fits.
It was definitely on my list of songs to consider, but it just, I don't know, something about it just didn't quite feel right as an anthem, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good song. I agree with you. It doesn't have that anthem feel to it. You know, as my dad says on my last CD. I was going to say, my dad said the last CD we had to pay for the rights on every cover we did. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So
Waiting doesn't have much of an anthem feel either, is all I was going to say. Like, I know my pick is not much of an, it's hard to find something that really works as an anthem. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a tough thing. And chat room, don't hesitate to chime in with some more ideas here for the White Sox playoff anthem. Now, we got a few things to go by here, but our buddy Vinny Parisi. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your pick here for this song?
Yeah, so shout out Dylan. Joe, you've met Dylan before. I gave him.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I kind of asked for his advice on this. He's the music guy, and I like music too, enough where I pay a monthly fee to have an unlimited supply of it. But I was like, hey, I need to think of a White Sox song like an anthem. And when I think of an anthem, I think of like a song that would make for like a sick hype video that you'd see on Twitter the day before the playoffs or the day of the playoffs.
Oh yeah.
And he sent me like 5 or 6 songs, and the one that stuck out to me the most, it was actually my first time ever hearing it, was a song called Scared of the Dark by Lil Wayne and Ty Dolla $ign. And I'm listening to the words, and I'm like, okay, I understand. Like, you're scared of the dark. And then I thought to myself, the plan is for the playoffs to be a blackout. So it's probably going to appear darker than average in there once things really get rolling. And
exactly.
Tampa Bay, Houston, you better be scared of the dark, because when the White Sox are healthy, we're coming for that.
Yeah, so let's take a listen to Vinny's choice, and let's just dive right in.
I'm not scared of the dark. I'm not running. No, I'm not afraid of the fall. I'm not scared, not at all. Why would a star ever be afraid of the dark? I'm not scared.
Definitely has that anthem feel, man. Could pump everybody up.
Shout out Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse too. Salim, I know you got your podcast coming up here where we're gonna get down and nerdy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's
Spider-Man.
I'm the
Spider-Man guy.
Yeah, Spidey's my all-time favorite. So
yeah, me too.
No Way Home,
He's
baby.
Yep, can't wait. Can't wait. So
sure.
shout out Spider-Verse, the greatest animated movie I've ever seen. It used to be Toy Story for me until I saw that movie.
Yeah, it's a damn good movie, and I'm looking forward to seeing No Way Home. I'm gonna get nerdy for a second too before I make my pick here. But Vinny, I do have to say I love that choice, and I could totally see a hype video to it. I agree 100%. So just like a mama used to make, that's beautiful. Kissed by the gods, I love it. But yeah, No Way Home. I'm excited for that, for the rumored appearance of 3 Spider-Mans. And of course, there's some more rumors about Venom, which I'm sure Salim is in the nitty gritty about. But that movie's coming out here in a couple weeks, and I'm sure he'll probably talk about that on his first podcast coming up, because that's one of the nerd things that's kind of spoiler verse hanging around out there. I'm trying to avoid it myself, but I've kind of seen
Doc Ock and the Green Goblin in the trailer, so like.
Yeah, I mean, they tried hiding it for like as long as it could, but it leaked like over a year ago that they were bringing back the older Spider-Man because it's going to be like potentially different universes. So yeah, and I think it's pretty much going to be. There's no way they bring back only the villains and not bring back Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. That wouldn't make much sense.
Yeah. Those must be some wild NDAs that they signed, though, man, because those guys, if you watch Andrew Garfield in an interview, that guy looks like he wants to jump off a bridge sometimes because he gets asked about it so much.
Like it's crazy. I always wonder about that, like how much willpower you have to not slip anything. It's like, I don't know how you would do it. Like, I would tell somebody, and then it will leak. It would just happen. There's
a lot of money on the line, man. Money
I know
talks.
that is true. That is true. That is very true. In the end, when you have like multi-million dollars holding on you, keeping your mouth shut, you're gonna do it, I guess. No, but for sure
that's how the Chicago Mafia has worked for years. We should all know that.
just a little taste of what's to come.
Yeah, I think that movie might be a 2-part movie too. I think that's what I thought. I heard a rumor about. There's going to be a 2-parter. So that movie, like, because I already said I'm a huge Spider-Man guy. So that movie, I really cannot wait to watch that.
Yeah, and a little closer than No Way Home, you got Venom coming out here in I think a couple
like
weeks.
A week and a half. Yeah.
Yeah. I have a little more of a negative opinion about Venom, just because like the Sony, the first one, I did not like it that much. It had its moments.
That's how I feel. It was like okay.
I do like how they have the Venom and Eddie Brock relationship. The Eddie Brock relationship, I like that's pretty good to the comic book. But yeah, I don't know. It was corny at times, cheesy at times. It was like, come on, it's whatever. I'll check it out. Like I'm like Carnage is probably one of my all-time favorite villains.
Yeah,
and I just wish I wish Sony would just give Spider-Man characters to MCU, man. Like the Disney, like
those are some of. Yes, they've been very good.
Yeah,
and that's another thing is I'm hearing that the post credits will blow your mind. Sony is actually releasing a campaign to make sure people don't tell the world about the post credits. As you could imagine, I've heard about the leaks. I'm not going to mention them here on the air.
Yeah.
But it changes everything. Let's just put it that way. And it makes me want to go see Venom. So I'm very excited about it.
I'm going to watch it still because I'm a nerd. So I'll watch all these movies. I'm going to definitely watch it. I guess I'm going to keep my expectations low and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, that's all you can do. And, and for those of you who don't know, Salim's going to have a new podcast here on the Ballroom Network called Science Fiction, where you talk about all the cool comic book, science fiction, Star Wars, cool sci-fi shows, you name it. He's going to talk about it. We're excited for that to join the network. And before we wrap things up, I'm going to do my White Sox playoff anthem choice here. And I tried to go with a Chicago homeboy for a song that was arguably the earworm of 2007. And this team is strong, and they're stronger. I'm going to go with Stronger by Kanye West with a little Daft Punk in there. So this is my choice for the 2021 White Sox playoff anthem. Let's get down.
Makes us harder, better, faster, stronger.
That don't kill me, can only make me stronger. I need you to hurry up now, cause I can't wait much longer. I know I got to be right now, cause I can't get much stronger. Man, I've been waiting all night now, that's how long I've been on ya.
I need you right now. Let's get stronger. This team, they seem to get stronger, as they go through all this perseverance and they go through this struggle, they go through the injuries, and then we make it to the end of the season. Everyone comes together healthy. They get stronger. I don't know. It just fits the bill of this team in my head. So as advertised, we said we were going to let Salim pick the best anthem from the four of us. So
Can I give
Salim,
an admission really quick though before he does that?
Yeah. Do that.
You could have played that song for me an hour ago, and you'd be like, Vin, you ever hear this before? I'd be like, yeah, of course I have. Who hasn't? Who's it by? I don't know. I was today years old when I learned it was by Kanye West. No clue.
Well,
that's how uncultured I am. Yeah, if you'd have told me that Daft Punk and Kanye West even knew who each other was, I would have.
Yeah, right.
They probably didn't back then. I mean, maybe.
The number one thing I
like
about that song,
by the way.
Yeah,
the number one thing I like about that song as an anthem song is that Kanye is, Chicago. So
yeah,
it helps the case a little bit.
All right. So am I picking now?
Quality options. Yeah. Go ahead and pick. And like I said, you don't have to do whatever you want. It's the Salim show right now, so it's all you.
You could say they all stink.
No, yeah, I like the songs. I liked all of the songs actually. I have a pretty broad range of the flavor of music that I listen to, so I liked it all. I'll go with Vinny's song though. I like the.
I like it.
I like that. Like I can see it like I was picturing like somebody making like a video and that the starting of the song is playing and
Yeah,
kind of
that's
getting
kind of
you
where my
hyped up.
pick of it came from.
Especially in a sea of black crowd, right? Like you see
Yeah.
black shirts all over, guaranteed rate.
Yep.
I like that, and then obviously Spider-Man tips the scales a little bit too. So
Fair.
There you go. That's fair. Yeah, we talked about that blackout game at home. Vincent in the chat says, people have been saying they want to have a blackout game every home game. I could see that. That'd be pretty awesome. Get that song going. Get a hype video going. Pass out the sweat towel. Swing it around your head. That could be energetic right there. That could be over the top, exciting, and I can't wait for it all to come, man. So we have talked about so much stuff tonight, and Salim, you've given us. Go ahead, Zim.
I did have one runner-up, just because it was really hard for me not to pick this song, so I feel the need to share it, and I don't know if it's going to work. No. The 80s is the worst decade for music that ever happened.
Their hair was cool though.
Oh, the hair was great. Motley Crue is the only good thing to come out of the 80s musically, as far as I'm concerned. But that's a whole other conversation for a whole other time.
I like Metallica.
It certainly is.
Here, let's see.
Metallica
if you guys
playing
can
a show tonight at the Metro
for
for $20.
For the first time since 1983, Metallica at the Metro.
Are you guys able to hear this?
Can't.
No. I hear you
Man,
clicking.
I don't know what's up with my audio. I redid some stuff this week, and obviously my microphone's working just fine, but unfortunately,
what?
Don't even start with me. Don't even start with me, man. Anyway.
Andrew WK, nice. The party song, right? Or what's it called?
Because this song is called Party Hard. And let's be real, if the White Sox win, we will party hard. When it's the first words of the song are, when it's time to party, we will always party hard. And let's be real. That's how this season
I can't argue with that.
So
it has been a dynamite season so far. It's been so much fun. It's been a fun show. Salim, you've given us so much of your time, man. We appreciate you giving us as much time as you have here on your Monday night. We know you got Bulls Gold, you got science fiction you're working on, so you're a busy man. Again, we can't thank you enough for hanging out with us. It's been fun talking White Sox with you all night. And before we let you go, why don't you tell everybody where they can follow you, what you got coming up for Bulls Gold, and what you got coming up for science fiction.
Yeah. Again, thank you so much for having me. You guys are awesome. You guys do a great show, and I'm very happy to be part of the Barroom family.
Amen.
You can, 100%. You can follow me personally at Salim_BG Hoops. You can follow my co-host too, Edward, at Edward Schuler Jr. We have obviously our Bulls Gold Twitter account at Bulls Gold. And then we do have a Twitter account I created for science fiction. It's just called at science fiction. Flix is again FLIX and then at TION. So yeah, looking forward to talking Bulls, obviously, with the season coming along quickly. Media day is in a week, and then training camp starts on the 28th. We got a big guest coming on for the next episode. I won't spoil that just yet, but we have a big guest for that one just to preview the season. And then, we're going to be recording with my friend Carl, who's the co-host. His actually Twitter handle is Ninja Chortle. It's Ninja, so CHORTLE. Nice. Yeah. So he's a whiz in comics and sci-fi and all that too. So we should be dropping our first show probably. I don't know how it'll work out because we are going to record Thursday night, so maybe it'll be dropping Friday. to your YouTube and your audio streams. So yeah, look out for that. We'll probably be we'll try to make it a good show.
Can't wait.
Love it, man. And our buddy Vincent in the chat says my favorite point guard is Lonzo. Can't wait for him. So I'm sure we'll be covering that all year long.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, we're excited to have Lonzo. One of those guys we've talked about on our show that, you know, one of those rare times where the Bulls have been linked to a player and they actually got him. So I'm very excited about Lonzo. Yeah, exactly. So excited all around for everything. Excited about the Sox, excited about the Bulls, and excited to talk some geek stuff too with the movies and sci-fi movies and comic movies and all that stuff.
It's a beautiful thing, man. We're glad we got to talk some of that with you tonight too. And it's been a heck of a show. We've reached the tail end where we're going to do some quick shout outs around the board before we hightail it on out of here. Of course, a big shout out to our buddy Chris Gonzalez, who's got some other plans tonight. He's busy, keeping busy on the East Coast. He's a busy man, traveling coast to coast, doing his thing for what he's got to do. So Gonzo, we appreciate you. We love you, man, and good luck with everything going on. And before we do that, Salim, we'll let you go first. If you got any shout outs to anyone out there in the world or across the podcast land, feel free to give a shout out.
Yeah. Like I said, I already shouted out Ed and Carl. Shout out to the other Bulls pod show on our network, Chris and Laro.
Bulls 101.
They do a great job as well. And yeah, that's about it. Can't think of who else is shout out right now, but yeah, it's very appreciative of you guys having me on.
Awesome, man. Yeah, we appreciate you as well. So thank you. Let's go around the bend. Steven Zimmerman, what do you got for shout outs, my friend?
You know, the simple stuff this week. Shout out to the Lions for freaking lioning all over Monday Night Football. You can just one of those teams you can just never count on them to get anything right. You know, good for them.
They're the second to worst team in the NFL. We really shouldn't be too surprised here.
Look, it's impressive to be that bad for this long.
Fair enough. No playoff win since what, 93?
Literally in my lifetime, they have not won a playoff game.
Same.
I'm 28 years old.
Yep.
Well, I tell you what, though. There's a whole fourth quarter for Green Bay to find a way to mess it up. So you never know.
Yeah, okay. So far in the fourth quarter, they've already added 2 touchdowns.
I think last week was probably just like a mirage of them not playing. Like I think he sat out most of the offseason, not doing much football stuff, and
preseason game number 4.
Yep. Unfortunately, it just kind of happens. But you know, shout out to you guys for doing this with me every week and making it entertaining while I'm here. You know, shout out to everybody in that chat room, keeping us busy and entertained. Even you trolls, give us something to talk about. You know, we try not to feed the trolls, but sometimes you just make it too easy. So, you know, shout out to the family for keeping me sane this week too. It's been
amen, man.
It's been necessary.
I love that. Yeah, I love talking ball with you guys, no matter what sport it is, and the sci-fi stuff. It gets me, excited too. Mr. Vinny Parisi, what do you got for us in terms of shout-outs?
So my special shout-out this week, I always try to pick somebody who related to me within the last couple days, and I'm going to give a special shout-out to my good friend Nick. He was kind enough to be the leader of taking us all to Michigan. We saw NIU get absolutely destroyed by the Michigan Wolverines at the Big House, but I got to see the Big House. Check that off my bucket list. I'm big into catching all the college football stadiums. I'm trying to see as many as I can while I spend my time on this earth. So big part of my life is catching 1 or 2 new stadiums every season. So shout out, Nick. Thank you for that. Salim, thank you so much for coming on. You're part of my shout outs. I appreciate it. It's been good. Joe and Steve and obviously Gonzo, I love you guys. This is one of the best parts of my week. And I'll always give a shout out to Joey for, doing Crosstown Crosstalk and Bar Down. The hockey season's right around the corner. Lots of good stuff coming up with those 2 shows with the playoffs and the season starting in hockey in a couple weeks. So make sure you tune in every Wednesday and Thursday at 2 p.m. both days. We got some guests coming up. I'll leave it at that.
I love it, man. I love the tease. It's a beautiful thing. Yeah, same thing here. You know, I love and respect all you guys and appreciate being able to talk with you every single week. To bring it full circle into shout outs, I always shout out my beautiful wife, Catherine, and my Great Dane, Maverick, and our little girl that's on the way. We can't wait to meet you. Of course, everyone here in the chat room, all my brothers on this show, all across, you know, Twitter, all the Ballroom family, whether it's guys like Salim or Laro or Chris or Mike North or Danny Shimon, you know, Neil Stopchinski, the Barfly Tailgate Boys. You know, it doesn't stop. There's just so much great content on this network. Make sure you tune in tomorrow. We have Dan and Aldo Bare Their Souls tomorrow night. The Mike North Advantage, I think, is on Wednesday mornings. Of course, you know, Bar Down. Vinny already teased that, so that's exciting. We got Bulls Gold dropping this week as well. You got Bulls 101. You got Fantasy Football Goon coming up on Sunday as well. As you know, you got Bear Football, the halftime show. You got the post-game show. And then, of course, you got the Barfly Tailgate show on Sunday morning. So we got all the coverage all week long. You're never going to get sick of it. Let's be honest. There's just so much great stuff. I strongly encourage you to head over to deepdishtees.com/barroom. You can head over there, buy some Barroom Network swag, whether it's a South Burbs Hitmen shirt. You know, eventually there's going to be Bulls Gold on there. I'm not sure if it's there yet. We're going to have Bulls 101. You're going to have Bar Down. You're going to have Fantasy Football Goon swag. You can get it all over there, and it helps support what we do on the network. So anything you can buy, whether it's a sticker or a shirt or a mug, we appreciate it from the bottom of our hearts. And most of all, we just appreciate you hanging out with us, the South Burbs Hitmen, talking White Sox baseball. We are excited for the playoffs. They are just around the corner. We are going to clinch here in the next 2 or 3 days, most likely. The magic number is hovering at 2 right now. So, you know, let's make it happen tomorrow. Let's get that clinch with a win and a Cleveland Guardians loss/Indians. But like I said, for the South Burbs Hitmen, I'm Joe Mandel. Chris Gonzalez will be back with us next week. That's Vinny Parisi. Steven Zim Zimmerman's over there. And our guest is Salim Suterwalla from the Bulls Gold podcast. We will see you guys next week. Let's go, White Sox. Let's clinch that division. The American League's not going to know what hit them. Let's go win some games. See you guys next week.